Just when you've done all your work, everything is feeling so good, Spirit has a sense of humor. It says, oh goody, we're going to give you a new challenge. And you carry on going round and round. So this never really ends. Part of evolution until we become totally free, totally one with I am. So we welcome it. Except this time round, when that next person walks through the door, instead of dropping into, oh my God, you just make me feel so good about yourself, we recognize where we are. And we say, what is it I can do for you? Not what can you do for me? And we start accelerating up this curve more and more. Eventually we get to a point where right out here, we actually look at it from the outside down. And we have that space of independence from the fear of conformity compliance. We'll always live in a space of conformity compliance. Like I say, driving on the left hand, what side do we ride on here? The right hand side of the road. I'm coming from, yeah. See, that's over here. But that's okay. We can be completely in the sense of spirit and still conform and comply. So above the line, I say, I believe are rules and regulations which are useful to the survival of the species. Down here are the ones which control and manipulate for the purpose of stealing power and gaining control for the individual or the nation. As an example of my own journey here, because I ended up fully in here, it's a big mess. Coming out as a gay man at age 35, took me 35 years of wasted opportunity and fear and anxiety. Living in South Africa, a country where we had apartheid. Talk about conformity control. Everything was absolutely regulated, right down to who you can love and who you can't love. It was also controlled by a very, very staunch Dutch Reform church, religion, very conservative, the Afrikaans church system. So we're sitting right down here. And you guys on your news knew all about apartheid and the insidiousness of that. We're living in it, we're just in survival mode. You don't even see it. And that's part of the challenges that we actually often don't see where we are. So we're staying in survival, just trying to stay alive and surviving. But eventually, at some point, it was enough. I was a director, and my whole world became totally chaotic. I totally spun out. I needed to be seen. I needed to be acknowledged. My authentic self needed to actually be heard. Living this lie of saying, well, you come to black tie affairs, where's the wife? That's really, really awkward, but that's conformity compliance in a world where expects the partner will be one of a certain demographic. So I spun out. And in that surrender, though, is when power comes in that total point of breakdown, that crisis. So the crisis can happen anywhere along here. Okay? That's why each person is unique there. And that point of crisis, though, is when we break down, when nothing matters. We just surrender. We don't have the energy any longer to fight. It's just too exhausting. So we say, I can't take this anymore. Is when we're actually completely open and receptive to anything and everything which is waiting for us. And that's a paradox. When I no longer have anything to defend is when I can truly see. Otherwise, I'm so busy in my mind trying to defend a position, trying to defend a belief system, trying to defend some behavior, trying to defend what I would like other people to think of me, trying to project myself as something I'm not, for fear of rejection, for fear of not being good enough, for fear of not complying. And each one of us here will have that, otherwise we wouldn't be born here. As part of our life journey, the soul's journey, is that integration to evolution through giving service to others. And Momi, I like what you said earlier. It was when you came to that point of I'm going to give service, suddenly the service provider shows up. That's how quick it is. And I really think we're in a very, very powerful quickening here on the island. We're in the breath of transformation. We're literally in her breath. We're being challenged to give in, just to let go. Now, what happens here, again, is how do you plot where you are on this thing? And that's a challenge, because there's sticky stuff here. It's easier to plot the feeling or emotions you might have around an issue. What do you think your emotions will be around if you're in there? Any more? Anger, hopelessness, apathy. Yeah. Well, let's look at that. Hate, anger, resentment, powerlessness. Powerless. That hopelessness sits there, just powerless. The anger, resentment. I don't want to be here. I don't like this. And I think, whilst we've each done our work on an aspect of our lives, there's always more which come around. It's just like an onion peel, come on and on. And each time I think I've done my work, through the door walks another teacher. Okay. So what do you think happens down here? How do we feel at this point? And let's just use, not because I'm going to judge him at all, but because he's in the news so much, and he's a wonderful example, learning example, our president. Not as a judgment at all. Lack of sensitivity, greed, selfish, ego, insensitivity, selfishness, greed, ego. And we're seeing that. I know what that feels like. I was there before the crisis hit. So I am predicting we are going to find ourselves in a crisis. Because the person at the top of the organization represents the values and culture of the organization. If that person goes into crisis, the organization goes into crisis. So enjoy the ride. But it's a case of, to know the stuff, it's okay to know the stuff. Because then you can actually regulate it. So what do you think happens up here, though? When the soul energy, we're integrated with the I am, yet we ask to conform and comply. Hawaii Dolphin Initiative people, where are you? All right, so what's the energy and feeling around that when NOAA came in with their proposed regulations?
Anger.
There was anger, but a certain type of anger. Wasn't this hopelessness? Yeah, so that frustration sits there. It's like, hey, can't you guys see what you are doing is wrong? Can't you see that what the rules and regulations you're putting in is just wrong? Can't you see that? I'm frustrated. I need to break out of this thing. I need to get away. I need to become liberated from these rules. And up here, what do we get there?
Joy.
That's a question which I put out there, and you all came up with wonderful answers. Joy, happiness, compassion, love, that all sits up there. So wrapping up on that, I just need to just get these here to find a wrap up. To figure out where you feel you are on an issue. Now, overall, you may say, I've done a lot of my work. I've done a lot of work to get up here. And most people here have, otherwise we wouldn't be part of this community. However, we never stop doing our work. We know that. Otherwise, we wouldn't come back here every Sunday. Because we come back to keep on doing our work. And so if you look at that, so the next thing coming up for you in your life, what is it? What is the work you're doing? Where are you on that? Where do you find yourself? And how fast can you move through? This afternoon, what we'll go through, because we have a lot more time, is how do you actually find the different the souls incarnating, what journeys do they take? So each of you will have a different soul journey, and how do you plot your own soul journey on this to find out where you are? The question is, what do you need to do to reclaim your freedom, to get back up there, and hopefully not die? Okay, hopefully get there before you die, so you can actually enjoy freedom, heaven on earth. We can enjoy that. So as I understand, what is it because each individual has their own work to do, and each of us are unique. What I have to do is not the same as you or you or you, and vice versa. So how do we identify that? The book I've put together is a self-help how-to thing. It's not a storybook of my life. I send out blog stuff on this kind of stuff. So sign up to my website. It's nigelbpatterson.com.